On a remote farm deep in the Bavarian countryside, a mystery has haunted Germany for over a century. A family brutally murdered, a killer who may have lived among the bodies, a case so disturbing that investigators confessed they could not sleep for nights afterwards. This is the story of the Hinterkaifeck murders, one of the most chilling unsolved crimes in European history. Hinterkaifeck wasn't even a real town. It was the local nickname for a lonely farmstead sitting between the villages of Grobern and Kaifeck. The family that lived there was six people: Andreas Gruber, his wife Kazilia, their daughter Victoria, 7-year-old Kazilia, 2-year-old Joseph, and the brand new maid Maria Baumgartner, who arrived just hours before she was killed. The Grubers were known as reclusive and strange. Rumors of incest between Andreas and his daughter Victoria had circulated for years. Some believed Joseph was Andreas' child, not the result of Victoria's relationship with a local man. But nothing could have prepared the small farming community for what was coming. 6 months before the murders, their maid abruptly quit. She told neighbors the house was haunted. She heard footsteps in the attic, voices, and felt she was constantly being watched. Then, just days before the murders, the family found footprints in the snow leading from the forest to their home. No prints led back out. They heard noises in the attic again. A set of house keys disappeared. The newspaper they didn't subscribe to suddenly appeared on their doorstep. And Andreas Gruber reported seeing a strange man on the edge of the woods just watching the farm. Neighbors urged him to leave or call for help, but the family stayed. What happened next remains one of the darkest mysteries in true crime history. On the night of March 31st, 1922, someone approached the Hinterkaifeck farm. The leading theory is that the killer first targeted the adults, luring each family member from the house into the barn, possibly imitating the sound of a distressed animal. In the barn, one by one, they were struck down with a mattock, a heavy pickaxe-like farm tool. Andreas, Kazilia, Victoria, and little 7-year-old Kazilia. The killer then entered the house. Inside, he murdered 2-year-old Joseph as he slept in his crib. He then walked down the hall to the maid's quarters and killed Maria Baumgartner, who had arrived at the farm that very day. When their bodies were later discovered, investigators made a horrifying realization. Young Kazilia, the 7-year-old, survived for hours lying in a pool of hay, tearing out tufts of her own hair in agony before finally dying. The murders were terrible, but what happened afterwards is what turned this case into a nightmare. For at least 3 days after the killings, neighbors saw smoke rising from the chimney, the cattle being fed, the family dog moved from one barn area to another, food missing from the kitchen. Someone stayed on that farm, lived in that house, tended the animals, ate the family's food, all while 6 bodies lay dead in the barn and the bedroom. Whoever the killer was, they were comfortable there, they were calm, and they were in no hurry to leave. Days passed with no sign of the family in town, which was unusual. The mail piled up, young Kazilia missed school, and the Grubers didn't show up for church. On April 4th, a group of neighbors walked to the farm to check on them. They found the barn doors locked, but eventually forced their way inside. There, in a pile of hay, they found the stacked bodies of Andreas, Casilia Sr., Victoria, and little Casilia. Inside the house, Joseph and the maid were found in their beds. No valuables were missing. The murder weapon was never found. Over 100 suspects have been investigated over the years. Here are the most prominent. Lorenz Schlittenbauer, the neighbor. He had a past romantic relationship with Victoria, and some believe he followed Joseph. He led the search party and was strangely calm at the crime scene. He was seen entering locked rooms without asking for keys, rummaging through the house, showing little emotion. Some think he returned to the farm days after the murders, pretending to, quote unquote, discover the crime. Others believe he was simply trying to help. Next is the Gruber family annihilation theory. Some theorize that Andreas killed his family, then someone else killed him. This idea lacks real evidence, but persists due to the disturbing incest allegations within the household. Was it wandering killers, deserters, or vagrants? Post-World War I Germany saw an explosion of homeless soldiers and criminals. Some investigators believed a passing vagrant killed the family and stayed on the farm for shelter. But no solid link was ever found. Next is the unknown farmhand. Witnesses in nearby towns reported a mysterious man seen watching the farm in the days before the murders. No one has ever identified him. Next is Victoria's husband, believed dead. Some bizarre theories claim Victor Gabriel, Victoria's long dead husband, returned from the war. However, records confirmed he died in 1914. But still, the rumor lingered. There's many reasons why this case remains unsolved. The investigation was deeply flawed. The farm was overrun by curious villagers before evidence could be collected. Autopsies were rushed and incomplete. The whole farm was demolished the following year, destroying the crime scene. Germany was in political and economic chaos during the early 1920s. Witness statements and early police notes were inconsistent. In 2007, modern German police cold case experts re-examined all surviving files. They stated they believe they know who the killer was, but out of respect for the surviving descendants, they will not release the names. Today, nothing remains of Hinterkaifeck. The farm was torn down in 1923, leaving only an empty patch of earth where one of Germany's darkest mysteries unfolded. The killer was never caught, the motive was never proven, and the strange events leading up to the murders, the footsteps in the snow, the attic noises, the missing keys, remain unexplained. Over a century later, the Hinterkaifeck murders continue to fascinate and terrify. Because at its core is a question no one has ever answered. Who lived with the dead for 3 days and why? And that'll wrap it up. Thank you guys for watching again. I truly appreciate it. If you like this content, please click the like button, subscribe, or leave a comment. Until next time, take it easy.